Hey, Tom here from the Run Testers with another first run review. In this video, me and quite a few other run testers are going to be doing a first run of the Saucony Ride 15. So I'm going to head off now in the beautiful sunshine and we'll be back in a bit with our thoughts. See you in a bit. The Saucony Ride 15 costs £130 or $140, weighs in at 249 grams or 8.8 ounces, and the drop is 8mm. The Saucony Ride 15 is a daily training shoe that's designed to feel lightweight and lean. Like its predecessors, it skews towards a modest level of cushioning, allowing it to be more versatile for faster efforts. The updates in the 15 include a lighter PWRRUN midsole foam, a more cushioned PWRRUN Plus sockliner, and a noticeable drop in weight from the previous versions. The upper is made from a thin, breathable mesh to improve breathability, and there's a good level of padding around the ankle collar as well as the tongue. On the outsole, there's also a sprinkling of rubber to improve durability. Okay, so the fit for me is definitely true to size. I'm a size 8, these seem to fit perfectly. I have heard the other guys say that they may be slightly tight. I have fairly average sized feet, they're not too wide, they fit perfectly for me. I'm not feeling that they're tight at all. In fact, they feel very comfortable, so true to size for me.
So fit for me wasn't 100% perfect. I had a UK size 8. I've run in the 13 and the 14 UK size 8 as well. I definitely found this a little bit tighter in the toe box particularly. There wasn't any kind of major issues elsewhere, but definitely felt for me it was a little bit tighter up front. Generally, there's characteristics from the 13-14 have kind of kept similar here. So the padded tongue you're getting here, similar kind of level of padding around the heel as well, and the kind of sides of the foot as well. The laces have changed, so you've got these kind of flatter laces in comparison to the spongy laces we had on the last two rides, which I think maybe you lose a little bit in terms of comfort on the top of foot. I didn't find any issues on the top of foot, but that is a kind of noticeable change here. So yeah, the fit for me, not 100%. I personally would go, or feel like I might have to go half a size up based on my first run.
For the fit, I found that they were slightly long in the front, the Ride 15. I think slightly longer than the Ride 14 was, but though it is quite close, they're probably going to fit the same, more or less, as the previous version. But in my normal size, they're slightly roomy up top. It was fine today on the run, and I was pretty happy true to size. But yeah, maybe if you're kind of in between sizes, half a size down might be the way to go on length. So about to head off and do my first run in the Saucony Ride 15. I've got 90 minutes easy to steady on the plan today, so I'll just be cruising along, running on heart rate, kind of going through the gears a little bit towards the end. Lovely sunny day here in London. I've never been a huge fan of the previous rides. I found them just a bit kind of heavy and slightly clunky for kind of daily use. They were kind of more of an easy trainer in my mind, but these seem to be lighter, maybe a bit bouncier, a bit softer, so we'll see how they go today. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing how they feel on a long run like this. So just coming up towards 11k, kind of 45 minutes in, and it's been ticking along so far. And the shoes, yeah, there's not a huge change for me underfoot, I will say that so far. They're still a fairly firm ride. There's not a lot of bounce and squish there. This PWRRUN foam that, I've used for a while now just isn't the most exciting foam for me. But yeah, they're all right, they're ticking along nicely. It'll be interesting to see if the kind of drop in weight makes them better towards the end of the run, where we move the pace down towards kind of 3:45, something like that. So we'll see how they are. But yeah, so far it's okay. It's a nice enough shoe, but nothing's really standing out for me. It's all done now. Ran kind of 22k, 0.22 for neatness. Ticked up at the end there, moved through the gears, and the ride felt okay. Like, I didn't dislike the Ride 13 and 14. I thought they were kind of just okay, and maybe a bit heavy. And this is kind of just okay as well, but a bit lighter for me, I'd say. Like, I did a very similar first run in the Ride 14, and yeah, probably you notice the lightness here at the end when you're ticking up towards steady pace, and I'm sure it would help if you were using it as an all-rounder shoe for kind of workouts as well. But I still wouldn't be kind of near the top of my list for that, probably based on this first run. It's, you know, the foam's okay, it's reliable, but it's not outstandingly responsive or soft or anything. It's kind of quite traditional still. And this new version obviously has that outsole, which maybe won't be quite as durable. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit on the fence about whether this is an improvement, because the ride hasn't improved as much as I like, and I wonder if it's going to lose, because it was a very durable shoe in the past, the ride, and now I wonder if it's not going to be quite so durable. And I think there's lots of competition in this area from shoes that are a lot cheaper that immediately spring to mind that I'm testing at the moment, like the Velocity Nitro 2 from Puma and the Reebok Float Ride Energy 4. So yeah, pretty enjoyable first run in the Ride 15, but it's not one that's blown me away, and I don't think the changes have really improved it drastically for my mind. I think it's still a solid shoe, just not sure it's going to be one that would I pick myself.
So my first one was a pretty easy 10k run. I'm still very much in recovery mode at the moment, and what I will say is the Ride 15 is a very different ride to the 13 and 14. While the 13 and 14 I think was very similar, but it's very minor kind of upper kind of updates from the 13 to the 14. This is a more radical change in terms of what you're getting in this shoe. And I think it comes down to a few things which I could notice on that first run. I think the first thing, and I'll bring in kind of the 14 here, is you can just see the level of cushioning that you're getting here now on the 15 in comparison to a 14. And I think that cushioning, while there's more of it, it's definitely kind of softer in terms of feel. I think it reminds me a little bit of the kind of plush, softer cushioning that you get on the Saucony Triumph 19, which, you know, is a shoe that I think is a really solid kind of easy shoe as well. So you're getting elements of that here, I think, and you feel that kind of plushness and that softness underfoot, I think, or I did in that run. So it definitely offers, I think, a more comfortable run in comparison to the 13 and 14. I think the other thing as well is you're getting an upper here, which I think is veering more towards the endorphin kind of range in terms of look, in terms of the overall weight. It definitely feels lighter to me. And then that for me is it's trying to get something that's a little bit better at that kind of quicker pace. I thought you could run pretty quick if you wanted to in the 13 and 14. I think this is probably geared towards running better at those speeds in that. In my run, I wasn't 100% sure if it was better in comparison to 13-14. So that's something, an element I'm still kind of, you know, looking to see how it kind of develops over kind of a bit more running with it. But we'll say that I did notice it was definitely felt comfortable, felt lighter, felt a little bit softer. And if you like that kind of softer kind of cushioning on your runs, and that's definitely what this feels like you're getting here in comparison to 13 and 14. So good first run. Still some things I'm a little bit unsure of, but I think, you know, potentially is going to be another promising kind of daily trainer option based on that first run.
Okay, so I'm back from my first run in the Saucony Ride 15. Sorry, the dog's drinking water down there. A really gentle 5 miles along the river. You know, it's a Easter weekend. No one needs to be running fast. Nick's probably running fast, but no one else needs to run fast. It's a really easy kind of run. I've never really been much of a fan of this kind of line, the Saucony Ride line. I've always found the foam is a little bit firm, but not as responsive as kind of the React or like other kind of firmer foams. So I've kind of never really, I couldn't compare it to the 14 because I don't think I did a lot of miles at all in the 14, and I will obviously do a lot more miles in this one. I'd say it fits and feels underfoot quite like a Pegasus, kind of that like firmer but responsive, you know, probably wouldn't wear it for a lot of tempo speed stuff, but a good kind of easy run, high mileage shoe. They have added these kind of to the laces. They're like this orange bit of material here goes through the kind of midsole section of the upper, which I think helps kind of lock your foot in and keep it quite tight. I've not really seen this before on this shoe, but they might have been doing it for a while, but I quite liked it. I quite liked that, like, I felt they fit really well. They fit true to size. I'm a UK 5 and these fit like a UK 5 would, enough room in the toe. They're quite, you know, quite lightweight and breathable. It's not like a racing shoe. It's like an everyday, you know, everyday kind of shoe. 8mm drop. They kind of, I think they look a bit, that looks like more foam than other rides, but again, I haven't done a lot of running in this line, so I don't want you to take my word for it. But yeah, they fit well, good for easy miles. They're nothing they're nothing too exciting or too spectacular from a first run. I didn't put them on and think, oh my god, this is amazing. But I don't know if you ever feel like that about an everyday running shoe. An everyday running shoe is to get you through the everyday miles, and you don't want it to be propelling you really fast, and you don't want it to be super, super plush. So they're my first impressions. I will obviously be back to talk about more. Definitely a road shoe. That's the kind of grip. We're not talking loads of grip, but you know, I'll be back to talk about more. This is my first impressions of the shoe.
So after my first run, I've just done about 8k. I'm just coming off an injury at the moment, so I don't want to push it too far. I've been running around my base pace, which is about 5-minute kilometers, so I've not been running fast in these shoes. I did try a couple of bits where I sped up a bit to see how they felt, but really it was a fairly general pace run just to see how they feel at daily training miles. And I am really impressed so far. They feel softer than the Ride 14. I should say that some of the run testers were a big fan of the Ride 14. I thought it was fine. It wasn't a shoe that I necessarily wanted to pick up for all of my runs, but it's a solid shoe. But I'm actually enjoying these a bit more. They feel a bit softer. They definitely feel a bit lighter, and I've really enjoyed that running them. So I think they're definitely a positive start for me on the Ride 15s. I'm looking forward to doing a few more miles in them.
So my initial thoughts on the Ride 15 is that, I mean, there's definitely some things here that I like, and some other things that I'm not 100% sure on yet, based off that first run. What I do know is definitely a more cushioned shoe. It definitely, that cushioning feels a lot softer. It feels very stable shoe to run in as well. The fit, clearly, not 100% for me either. Probably would go half a size in this. In terms of a kind of, going from the 13, 14 to this shoe, it's definitely going to be a change for people. So whether people are going to like the change, I'm not 100% sure. As I said, I definitely still think it's going to be a versatile daily trainer. It might be a bit better at speed. I'm still, on the fence about that element of it. In terms of other daily trainers that are out there, the things that I use, I do use the Ride 14 a lot. I use the kind of Under Armour Flow Velocity Wind, and you've got things like Puma Velocity Nitro and the Nitro 2 as well. In terms of where this sits or where this might sit, I think that's, it's in good company there. I think maybe the midsole kind of feeling experience on the Puma feels a little bit nicer at quicker kind of paces for me, but that's not to kind of do disservice to what I think you're going to get here on the Ride 15 as well. I think it's shaping up to be a very good daily trainer with some kind of changes from the 13 and 14 that I think probably are going to work and going to be work for the better overall. So yeah, overall pretty solid first run for me. Not perfect, definitely some question marks here, but it's a shoe that I think potentially could work its way into my rotation. I think people who have used the 13 and 14 will like the changes in general, might be a bit hesitant about some things, but I think the changes are, look potentially like they're going to make the shoe an even better daily trainer.
And my verdict from that first run, I think they're a very good feeling shoe from the first run, basically. I'm very impressed with them. I'm very positive about trying them out for some more runs, which I don't always get from shoes, and yeah, I think so far they're a solid all-rounder, and I definitely think they could do a good job at running at faster paces as well, which I didn't get from the Ride 14. I actually tried the Ride 14s out on a 10k race, and I found to feel very sluggish over that 10k, and I struggled to get even close to my PB. So these definitely feel a lot lighter and a lot faster. Looking forward to giving them a go at some faster paces when I'm not injured.
So verdict on the Ride 15 is it probably is an improvement on the previous version whilst retaining quite a similar feel to the original version. I'll say that. I don't think the Ride's massively softer from what I noticed, but it's still got a fairly firm traditional feel to me, and that's quite good. It's going to be reasonably versatile, I guess. But yeah, it's not a shoe exactly to my taste. It doesn't feel super quick. It's lighter, but doesn't feel super light. I prefer something probably slightly softer with a bit more bounce in the foam. This Power Run foam just doesn't necessarily do it for me as a regular as a shoe I'd use regularly, but yeah, nothing too bad about it. We'll obviously use it some more before the full review, and I'll try and do some speed work in it to see if that lightness has helped. But at the moment, it's, you know, it's a shoe I think is okay. It wouldn't make my rotation. I'd be picking up cheaper, really good value shoes ahead of it, like the Velocity Nitro 2 and the Reebok Float Ride Energy 4, which I don't think are just cheaper. I think they're just better shoes in the way they feel. For me, you know, the Velocity's softer, more cushy, but still quick, and the Float Ride Energy 4 has a really nice turnover to it, and I think it's lighter and quite versatile, whilst also, you know, being £75. So yeah, the Ride 15, yeah, it's okay. It looks like a solid update, but it didn't blow me away today on this first run.
Okay, so that's it from us on this first run test for the Saucony Ride 15. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click that little bell. And if you want to support the channel, we do have a Ko-fi account set up. You can check that out by clicking in the link in the caption below. And that's it from us. Thanks a lot. See you soon.